YouTube, welcome to my channel, Lars and Conditioning. Your age does not really dictate what kind of split you should be running. It does dictate it to an extent, but not nearly as much as you would think. Obviously, someone who's 80 years old, so this is an extreme example, should not be running push-pull legs 6 days a week. I mean, nobody should really be running that particular split in the first place. But just to paint yourself a picture. Most people, regardless of age, and if you're not trying to be an athlete of some sort, should be training somewhere between 2 to 4 days per week. Why is that? Well, rest days is important because that's where you actually really sleep, and rest is where you're going to grow. You're not going to grow the more time you spend in the gym. You're not going to grow more just because you spend 6 days a week, 4 hours at a time at the gym compared to spending 4 days a week and then an hour and a half, an hour at a time in the gym. You're not going to grow more just because you spend significantly more time training. It could very well lead to overtraining or overuse, or simply just not recovering at all, so you may not progress at all. It's a similar issue for people who actually shows up and train consistently, but they train so soft that they realistically actually could be training every single day because their recovery is not really being taxed. And this is a problem I have tackled in an earlier video where I talk about you need to train more often instead of with less volume. If you do too much volume, if you know with yourself you have to get through a crazy amount of sets, what's going to happen is that you're going to hold back the amount of effort that you have to put in. And the inverse is going to happen if you know, okay, I have to do bench press, but I have 2 sets, not 5, but 2. That means you know with yourself, if I want to get the most out of these 2 sets, I have to push the envelope. I can't sandbag it. So less volume with a high intensity will ultimately beat doing high amounts of volume, at least for the average person. It can be very different if we're looking at people who are powerlifters or strongman, where what they're doing is they're trying to optimize every single thing they can. So they may be doing high volume with less intensity for the most part of the training block to optimize the skill development in those particular movement patterns. So that's a different ballgame. But your age really doesn't matter all that much in what kind of training split you should be running. Because again, like I said before, most people should not be training more than 4 days per week anyway. And the reason why I say 4 and not 5 is for one very simple rule. If you train 4 days per week and there's something in your life comes up and gym doesn't happen to be your life, then you can very well move 1 day around and then actually have your whole training for the week still not get lost or completely be discouraged from training, because you'll be like, oh, well, might as well not train then because I missed a day or something, because you can quite easily move a day around. That sort of flexibility you do not have with 5 days. But you do have it if you have a training split that's between 2 and 4 days, especially with 2 days and 3 days even more so. And also with 4. But the moment you step above 4 days per week, that's when you no longer have any sort of flexibility in your training, where you have to make the decision, do I want to skip out in the gym and lose potential progress? Or if you have less days, you can be like, if some of your friends are being, want to make some sort of event happening at a complete random case, you'll be like, I can't do it, I have to hit the gym. But then they're thinking, oh wait, I can actually just push it till tomorrow. That's actually fine. So you can be like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's go to the cinema or what it might be. So it creates a lot of flexibility and freedom, which is ultimately extremely important because it also creates some sort of longevity in the training aspect. If you cannot stay in the game for a prolonged period of time, then the effort is not going to be worth all that much. If you can only train for short periods of time, I'm talking like weeks or months, then it's not going to have such a big impact as it could have if you could actually maintain it for years on end. And that's where the time window for a lot of people gets messed up. A lot of people are thinking about only what they can do in the next month or 2, not what they can do in the next 5 years. And realistically, whatever sort of like training results you want, you're going to have to zoom out and look in years, not weeks or months, but years. Thank you for watching. Lars Conditioning, signing out.